As I said in the last episode of this No Projects mini-series, I want to deal with some objections. I think I've been a little bit unfair to project managers and the project management profession overall, and if we were doing a live presentation here, some of them would undoubtedly want to come back and raise an argument from the points I've raised. So a project manager is going to say, stop, this is unfair. I am misrepresenting project managers, and I will accept that. I have to some degree exaggerated some of their characteristics, shall we say, or if not project managers, because I don't really have an argument with individual project managers. I find individual project managers we need to take on the basis of an individual. There are good project managers and there are bad project managers. In the same way there are good coders and bad coders, good testers and bad testers. Some are better than others. Many project managers have a lot of experience in our industry and have some valid points to raise and are useful team members. The position many project managers are put in between what happens in reality and what the project management guidebook training says puts them in a difficult position, and they're often asked to try and resolve these conflicts themselves. So I think a lot of project managers would rightly object to some of the stuff I've said. Project managers say, wait a minute, project managers do not break up teams, and this is true. We talked about temporary teams before, and quite often we find teams which should have been broken up, they've been kept together long past the original time when they should have done. And we find project managers don't stick doggedly to requirements. They may start with a requirements document, but they know the world changes, and they know we can't stick to a requirements document, and they build in mechanisms for changing that. And project managers will say they do allow change, and they do consider the question of value, and they do work continually. And I will accept that some project managers, we say the better project managers, are flexible and do recognise this. They recognise some of the limitations of their own model. So given that, I want to pose some questions back to these project managers. If that is the case, then what is a project? Because I started off in this series looking at the definitions of a project from the AMP here in the UK, Prince 2, and the PMI in the US. And I think what some of the project managers who are raising these objections are saying is, actually, in the real world, the project model as defined by the project institutes does not play out that way. So what should the definition of a project be? Which leads on to the question, why does Prince 2 here in the UK and the PMI in the US, why do they use these definitions? If these definitions aren't what actually happens in the real world trademarking, why do we use these definitions? I'm confused. And it also leads me to ask, if a project is not a project, and the Prince 2 PMI definitions of a project are not what a project is, then what does a project manager actually manage? Because they're not managing features and scope and times and things like that. It's different. They're not managing temporary organisations. What does a project manager manage in this scenario? I'm confused. And it leads on to another problem. If the project model doesn't work, and if we don't follow the project model in the real world, why do we train project managers in this model? Why do we select the managers on their ability to talk about projects like this? And why do we have these ambiguous success criteria we talked about earlier on schedule, on budget, on features and all of that, if that's not how it plays out in the real world? And why do the rest of us, and why do project managers specifically, have this mental model of the way work gets done? I'd suggest that it's the language of projects that confuses us. And we'll move on to this problem number 5, in the next episode. Fortunately, this one has a rather easy solution, so we can take the two together. See you in a moment.